Oh my god, okay, the Chicago Bears, for better or for worse, they never failed to keep you on the edge of your seat. They never failed to give you heart attacks, raise your blood pressure, make you an emotional and mental wreck at the end of games, but somehow the Bears still hung on for a 17-13 victory at Soldier Field to move on to 2-0 on the season. What's up, Chicago Bears fans? I'm back with another post-game reaction video, which I'll be doing every single week this year, so if you're new here, be sure to subscribe because I'll be coming out with reactions, live streams, Bears highlight videos, everything related to the Bears I'll provide to you guys this year. But guys, we are 2-0 on the season. Undefeated, baby, okay? I know that none of these wins are truly impressive. If you look at the Lions game, we barely won that game in the final seconds when one of their running backs obviously dropped the game-winning touchdown pass. This game against the Giants, it was not truly an impressive blowout victory like it should have been. We blew a 17-point lead to hang on in the end. But guys, like I say every single video, a win is a goddamn win. Don't complain after a win. Don't be upset after a win. Yeah, you are totally allowed to criticize, the things that went wrong on this team in the second half. You can criticize the poor play by our receivers, poor player by our defense, by the other guys on this team. You're totally allowed to criticize the team, and I'm 100% okay with that. But to sit here and be upset after a victory, get the hell out, guys. A win is a damn win. This is the NFL. You're not going to win every game by like 20 or 30 points. I mean, at the end of the day, guys, the only thing that matters in the NFL is if you get the win or if you don't. There's no almost in the NFL. There's no you almost blew a lead, you almost did this. It's if you did it or you did not. And we are ultimately 2-0 to begin the season, in first place of the NFC North. So I don't get why every time I open up Bears social media, literally everybody is crying. Enjoy the 2-0 start, guys. We haven't had this since 2013. So I'm going to be enjoying myself tonight, celebrating this victory because there are a lot of positive things to take away. But guys, ultimately, I do have to admit that this game should not have been close in the slightest, okay? We were up by 17 points at halftime. The Giants lose their number one offensive weapon in Saquon Barkley. Everything was going our way in the first half, but we completely took our foot off the gas pedal and we let them back into this game, which is totally unacceptable if you are the Chicago Bears. If you want to be a good team this year, if you want to be a playoff team, you cannot be letting teams back into games like this because a better team could have came back and beaten us. So although I am truly happy about this victory, I'm so happy we won this game, a lot of positives to take away, you cannot also forget about the negatives and the stuff that we have to clean up for the next game. But with all that said, let me break down how this game went, kind of give you guys my opinions on who had good games, who had poor games, and what we can clean up for the future and what to take away from this matchup. But, pretty much to begin with, this game was a tale of two halves, okay? In the first half, everything was going our way, like I mentioned. I mean, our pass rush was in Daniel Jones' face. We were getting consistent pressure on the quarterback. Our DBs were playing lights out, very aggressive. Daniel Jones tested Kyle Fuller twice to begin this game, and both times, Kyle Fuller answered. Deion Bush got the interception when pressure got into Daniel Jones' face. Robert Quinn on his first drive, he truly showed us his worth, okay? On the first drive, he comes in, gets to Daniel Jones, forces a fumble, and Khalil Mack recovers that fumble, which, by the way, guys, at that point, I was completely losing my mind, okay? Seeing how dominant that pass rush was, how we were getting into his face, how dominant the DBs were playing as well. I mean, that was the defense I was hoping to see this year, and kind of like how we were in 2018. We were truly a dominant defense in the first half, allowing 0 points in under 100 total yards. I gotta talk about the offense as well, and man, our offense was having a day to remember in the first half against the Giants. They looked about as good as I've seen them over the past 2 years in literally any game. I mean, we were driving down the field with ease, putting up points, 17 points in the first half. That's some of the most points we have ever put up under Matt Nagy in this offense. Trubisky was looking fantastic, on point with all his passes. We were getting Trubisky out of the pocket, even designing some QB runs for him, although those QB runs didn't work. I mean, to see Matt Nagy try to take advantage of Trubisky's athleticism, that truly made me excited. David Montgomery was having an incredible first half. Now, he did go down with that neck injury where he pretty much flipped over and landed straight on his neck. That could have been a horrible injury, but he somehow came back from that, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But overall, David Montgomery, he had a touchdown. That pass where Trubisky rolled out to his right, he forced that defender to commit to him, so that freed up David Montgomery on the HB wheel route. to go in for the first down. Now, David Montgomery, though, was not satisfied with that first down. Okay, after the catch, he had a phenomenal run, shifting all the way to the left and waltzing in for the touchdown, evading multiple defenders on the way. So again, a beautiful run by David Montgomery, also a fantastic throw, and good decision by Mitch Trubisky. So, overall, our offense was firing on all cylinders in the first half. It looked like we might have a blowout victory here because our offense could not be stopped. Our defense was pretty much as dominant as it was in 2018. So everything was looking up at halftime. But then after halftime, I don't know what happened, but both the offense and the defense faltered completely. Let's talk about our offense first of all, since I'm talking about them already. But pretty much what happened to the offense in the second half was that there were a handful of plays that we totally botched that completely ruined all of our momentum and ended all of our drives. Okay, Mitch Trubisky had 2 interceptions in the second half, but guys, none of those interceptions, in my opinion, were on Mitch Trubisky. So although that's going to look poor for him on the stat sheet, both those balls were, they were 50-50 balls kind of to Allen Robinson, and Allen Robinson did not go up and get either of them. Like, yeah, I get that they were also phenomenal defensive plays by the DB there, but Allen Robinson, if you are a number 1 wide receiver, if you want to get this money, you have to go up, box out, and get the ball, like you have done a lot in the past. So it was a pretty uncharacteristic second half by A-Rob. I mean, he's still the best receiver on this team, still super talented. We still have to re-sign him, obviously. One bad game doesn't mean anything, but those interceptions, man, they were honestly A-Rob's fault, in my opinion. Now, I get that the first interception, maybe you could kind of blame Trubisky because he was trying to force a pass in a tight window, but still, like, nobody else was actually open on that play. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the footage, but I don't think anybody else was actually open on that play. So what else was Trubisky gonna do? Like, yeah, maybe you could throw the ball away, but to give your number 1 receiver a chance on a 50-50 ball, I'm totally okay with that. So I'm not gonna blame Trubisky there, but A-Rob, he had to do a better job trying to get that ball, but unfortunately he didn't, and that led to 2 interceptions. And also Anthony Miller on third down, he had a big drop where Trubisky made a pretty fantastic throw, but Anthony Miller just let the ball go through his hand, so that ended our drive right there. We had to punt the ball. So it was those 3 plays pretty much, and the missed field goal by Cairo Santos, which, by the way, guys, I'm not a fan at all of Cairo Santos. I still think that Eddie Pinheiro, when he's healthy, he should be back here with the starting job because he had a pretty decent rookie season for us. So it was a combination of all these plays that really led to us scoring 0 points. Now, talking about our defense, Chuck Pagano's prevent defense struck again. Okay, whenever Chuck Pagano has a slight lead, he likes to run this prevent D where all of our cornerbacks, all our DBs are far off the line of scrimmage. We're pretty much just dropping back, sending no pressure to the quarterback and letting the quarterback drive down the field with ease, which is what Daniel Jones did in the second half. Our DBs were not making the same plays they did in the first half. Eddie Jackson did have that pick 6, which that is a questionable play call. Yeah, I get that Eddie Jackson was probably there a little bit too early, but to see that pick 6 come off the board, man, that truly depressed me. Okay, that would have been a crazy game-changing play by Eddie Jackson, who still had a phenomenal game. But like I said, our DBs were not making the same plays on the ball in the second half. Our pass rush was really not there as much in the second half. Yeah, we were getting a little bit of pressure, but nowhere close to the same amount of pressure we got in the first half. And pretty much we were just dropping back and letting Daniel Jones pass all over us and get these points for free. Our defense had a chance to put this game away and terrorize this offense if we had, a few more sacks, maybe a fumble, maybe 1 more interception. Like, we could have completely put this game away if Chuck Pagano chose to be aggressive in the second half instead of dropping back into coverage and letting him drive down the field. So I'm being really critical of Chuck Pagano here because he has so much defensive talent to work with. Defensive coordinators all across the league, they would be blessed. They would be happy to have a defense like this with all the talent we have, and I feel like Chuck Pagano is not making the most of it. But in the end, we still got it done. We still got this victory, which is pretty much all that matters in this league. Yeah, we played horrible in the second half. Yeah, both our offense and defense sputtered against a pretty poor Giants team, so we're not going to sit here and boast after a victory like this, but to still, come out with this victory, to still be 2-0, that's pretty much all that matters at this point in time. So although it wasn't an impressive victory whatsoever, I'm still glad we played well enough in the first half to outlast this team and come out with the dub. One thing I do have to talk about, since some Bears fans have the nerve to bring it up, is that Mitch Trubisky was not even close to being the problem in this game. He was not even close to being the reason why we blew this lead in the second half. Mitch Trubisky honestly had a pretty good game the entire game, okay? He was good enough for us to win this game. He was good enough to put up a lot of points, and he looked like a totally different quarterback still than I saw all of 2019. Mitch Trubisky was actually out there making all his reads, keeping his eyes down the field, trying to extend plays after, it seemed like they were already done with. He was pretty poised in the pocket. Like, he looked like a totally different quarterback still than I've seen in years prior, but his receivers did not help him out whatsoever in the second half, and also in the first half too. So I want to talk about 4 plays in particular that really ruined Trubisky's stats and made them look a lot worse than he actually looked in this game. And all 4 of these plays also ended drives and shifted momentum the other direction. And none of these plays, in my opinion, were actually Mitch Trubisky's fault. So the first play here was a TD drop by Anthony Miller in the first half. Okay, Mitch Trubisky threw a beautiful ball to the left corner of the end zone for Anthony Miller to catch, and the ball just goes right through his hands. So that was totally Anthony Miller's fault. He robbed Trubisky of a 3rd touchdown pass in the first half, which would have been absolutely huge for Trubisky's confidence and also just for the team in general, because being up by 21 points at the half, it's much better than only being up by 17. Yeah, I know it's only a 4-point difference, but those 4 points could have been absolutely huge in this game. Anthony Miller also had another drop on 3rd down in the second half, which ended a drive by the Bears. So, that's another drive that pretty much was stopped by Anthony Miller failing to catch the ball. So Miller, again, I have to say, he did not have a good game whatsoever and dropped some easy catches that could have extended drives or put up points on the board for us. And then I also have to talk about the 2 interceptions, which both of them were phenomenal defensive plays by the DB. So I'm not going to act like it was all the receiver's fault there, but Allen Robinson, man, you're the number 1 wide receiver on this team. I mean, you're the big body guy that has to go up there and, post up and catch these balls over these other DBs. Like, both those balls Trubisky threw, they were kind of 50-50 balls. The first one was not really a 50-50 ball. It was kind of a tight window pass to A-Rob, which he didn't actually go up and get. He kind of let the DB get leverage on him. And obviously that was deflected and it went up in the air for interception. So, A-Rob's lack of effort there, I think that came back to bite us. And on the second ball, the second interception, that was totally, I feel like, A-Rob's fault because he didn't actually go up and get that 50-50 ball. Okay, you throw a 50-50 ball to your best receiver in times like this, and A-Rob could not come down with that ball. So both those interceptions, guys, I mean, they were pretty good decisions by Trubisky because I didn't see anybody else open on the field during those times. So Trubisky was just trying to give the ball to his best receiver, give him a chance to make the play, but A-Rob could not make the play twice. So all 4 of these plays, man, they ended drives and shifted momentum to the other side and prevented Trubisky from putting up more points and more yards. So overall, guys, if you actually watch this game, you would know that the blown lead was not Trubisky's fault in the slightest. I mean, in fact, it was the very opposite. Trubisky was making plays pretty much the entirety of the game, but his receivers were failing to show up and, catch these balls. I mean, Trubisky was also running for the first down in the second half. He was using his legs to pick up the first down, trying to extend plays and, make something out of nothing. And some of those throws also were pretty amazing throws that should have been a touchdown to Anthony Miller in the left corner of the end zone. That was a beautiful throw by Trubisky. That play where he rolled out to his right and forced the defender to commit, getting David Montgomery an easy touchdown. That was a beautiful play by Mitch Trubisky. He also had some crazy balls that he did throw in the second half that resulted in incompletions because the receivers were not willing to catch the ball. Now, he did have some bad balls as well. Obviously every QB is going to have a couple bad balls. And yeah, maybe once or twice in this game, he did overthrow a receiver, Demetrius Harris. That was a pretty big overthrow because that could have been a big gain when we needed it the most. But overall, guys, I was truly encouraged by what I saw from Mitch Trubisky. So I know a lot of you guys are going to hate on me in the comments for this because a lot of Bears fans still have such an intense hatred for Mitch Trubisky for some reason that they are unwilling to give this guy credit no matter what, okay? And they're going to look at his stats and say that, oh, Mitch Trubisky had a terrible game, okay? Only putting up this many yards against a horrible Giants defense, having 2 interceptions in the second half. Mitch Trubisky was the reason why we lost, right? Guys, open up your damn eyes and realize that all of the blame is not always on the quarterback. And if you actually go back and watch his tape, Trubisky made some phenomenal decisions in this game. So I'm not going to place the blame on Trubisky for blowing this lead because in reality, his receivers were the reason why we even blew this lead in the first place. And we didn't put up any damn points in the second half. So guys, if you are a Trubisky fan, I mean, I would truly be encouraged by what we are seeing here because even the analysts on TV, I mean, they agree that Trubisky does not look like the same quarterback from 2019. I mean, yeah, I get he's only played the Lions and the Giants defense, so not great defenses whatsoever, and he's going to have to prove his worth against an actual good defense. But some of the stuff that we are seeing out of him, even against a poor defense, we have not seen at all in the past. Okay, he's actually going beyond his first read and reading the entire field. Okay, left to right, going through all of his progressions. He is throwing to his left as well pretty consistently. In the last game against the Lions, he actually had more passes completed to his left than to his right. So that narrative that Trubisky cannot throw to his left, it seems like it might be dumb because he's actually completing a lot of passes now to his left. And also that Anthony Miller touchdown that should have been a touchdown, that was also to his left. So Trubisky is destroying a lot of these narratives about him. He's making some pretty good decisions. He's throwing some pretty good balls, but his receivers have got to show up in the next game. Now, one more player I have to talk about is running back David Montgomery, because guys, David Montgomery showed some true heart out there on the football field. I mean, he showed us that he is not willing to give up whatsoever, and he is willing to carry the team on his back when need be. Because, guys, like I mentioned earlier, I mean, this dude literally landed straight on his neck. That could have been a horrible concussion. He could have honestly been paralyzed or even worse based on how bad that injury looked, landing right down on his neck. But he came back from that in the second half and put up some crazy yardage on the ground. I'll read you guys the stats right here. David Montgomery finished with 82 yards rushing on 16 carries, so an average of 5.1 yards per carry. And in the receiving game, he was also our leading receiver, finishing with 45 receiving yards and obviously that receiving touchdown. So beautiful game by David Montgomery. He's truly showing his worth in an offense like this. And, all the people that want to sign Leonard Fournette, including me, we have honestly been shut up so far, because so far it's looking like David Montgomery is still the perfect fit in this offense when he is truly healthy. So amazing stuff from David Montgomery. Cannot wait to see what he can do in the future on this team. Quickly talking about Darnell Mooney, I think that Darnell Mooney is definitely cementing himself as a number 3 receiver on this team by far, because he continues to make plays out there in only his second start in the NFL. Okay, that touchdown catch that he had, which was, by the way, his first touchdown catch, man, that was a beautiful play by Darnell Mooney, jumping over that DB and catching the ball over him, even though the ball was kind of high. Darnell Mooney did show off his hops and showed that he can go up and get the ball, even though he is a smaller receiver. So Darnell Mooney, man, he's showing us stuff that we did not think he was probably capable of. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I want to say about this game. I mean, it was a tale of two halves. First half, we were looking pretty dominant. Our offense was firing on all cylinders. Defense was not letting Daniel Jones do anything, really. So we were up 17-0 at the half. We didn't score a single point in the second half. Our offense completely sputtered, and we allowed them to come back and score 13 points. And they could have actually won that game on that final drive if the Giants drew up a better play for Daniel Jones. So are we going to be satisfied with this victory? Are we going to be boasting about this victory? Absolutely not. But a win is still a goddamn win. We are still 2-0 on the season. We're still tied with the Packers for first place in the division. So guys, go out and celebrate. Be happy. Enjoy this victory. The Bears are undefeated for the first time since 2013 at this point in time during week 2. So hopefully going into the next week against the Falcons, we can clean up a lot of these mistakes and play, a good solid 60 minutes of football. But let me know what you guys think about this game in the comments down below. And as always, bear down.